Hello, everybody. My name is Puppetine, and I am here on a rooftop across from the Daily Planet once again to talk about the next episode of Superman and Lois. Came out, well, just this Tuesday, and we are, I don't know, I'm excited. When this show started, I didn't expect it to be half as good as that pilot was, and it just gets better and better. I think this might be the highest quality television show on the CW, period. And with me, I have Bat Arnold at my side. Hello. You can see him in the darkness of his cave. How are you today, Bat Arnold?
I'm doing pretty good. I actually enjoyed this show. I got to say, it could suffer the same fate as maybe Arrow. Arrow had the same problem. Arrow started off good, and then they went into crap. At this third season. Third season is when it was horrible.
Well, you see, with Arrow, there was a clear problem, and that is the writer's obsession with making this random character that they just shoved in there that was supposed to be there for one episode, and then making them a major character. And sadly, that character was written in such a way that it just undermined our main hero.
Yeah, maybe they could get the writers from Supernatural. Since they're done, they could do this show. Maybe this show will be awesome then.
Maybe. But right now, the writers of this show are surprising me. This is just the second episode, and I'm already hooked. I'm ready for the next week, man. I finished this episode. I was like, I want more.
Yes, I want more too, but I want to point out that this show, the only thing I did not like about it was the way they have Luther. Luther feels like a Jimmy Olsen from Smallville, just becoming like villain. You know, I say it's not Smallville, Supergirl. The Jimmy Olsen, the same. It just felt kind of weak. It does not impress.
His presence in this episode, he does take off his helmet. We do get to see his face. He is Lex Luthor from another Earth, and he is African American. But that's not. You do have a point. There is a problem in his performance outside of the suit. His voice work is amazing. His voice is intimidating. Absolutely.
Inside the suit, but outside of it, it just seems like, wow, John Cryer is like 1,000 times better. It's not because of the skin color; it's just the way you deliver it. It just comes out weak.
I want to talk a bit about this, Lex, but I feel like we should go over some basics of the story. Last week we had Clark starting with a narration and basically explaining the quick story, and then we go into where we are today. Lois is the one who starts this episode. And she talks about how do you let go of a place you loved, a place where you built your life. And basically the entire Kent family has moved to the Kent farm. That morning, whenever they're at the table, the boys are talking about going to school, and Clark and Lois say to their son Jacob, who in the last episode was revealed to have powers just like his dad, or at least similar to his dad. I'm sorry, not Jacob, Jordan. Jordan. It's very important. And he's not happy that he doesn't get to go to school.
Yeah, so is Jacob. He thought he had powers too.
Well, Jacob is the third long-lost son of Superman, but we're not going to talk about that. That's just fan fiction. Jordan, while not happy about not going to school, they end up walking off, and Clark basically tells Lois how he's worried about the guy in the war suit, the Stranger, as he has been dubbed by the show, for now at least. With this start, this show does have a problem in that it is a drama show, and it is primarily a drama. So all the action scenes are solid. I enjoyed them, but there's a lot of drama weighing it down. And that's not a problem for everybody. A lot of people do enjoy a look into these characters' lives and outside of just the action. I would like to see a little more action here and there, but I understand the route they've gone with this show. We see in a facility the stranger, Lex Luthor of another Earth, looking for kryptonite, but all he finds are a bunch of weapons. He's like, "Where's the kryptonite?" And this poor guy, well, I say poor guy, he is a criminal, but he's like, "Kryptonite? I don't have any kryptonite," and he's running away, and Lex Luthor shoots him in the back. And he ends up going back to his ship, and he talks about using it to go because his suit is losing power. It's losing whatever charges it. Do you have any notes here?
Yeah, I wonder if the suit runs on kryptonite. Same with the ship.
Yeah, I think that might be the case because the suit has these green blasts that come out of the hands. So that might be one of the main reasons he needs kryptonite, and it might explain something a little later that happens in the show. We get to see the Fortress of Solitude because Jordan he's getting ready to basically be tested again because Clark is like, "We got to show you. We're going to learn your history now." Because
I have to point out that this is more like an igloo compared to the Supergirl who had the awesome Fortress of Solitude. This one is just like, okay, we show you one little section and that's it. It just felt weak and it felt cheap.
Really, it felt more natural to me. Supergirl's just entire way of being feels cheaper.
Supergirl's is more like the Christopher Reeve Fortress of Solitude. This felt like they just had like a cooler in the back of the Denny's and they just decided to put like some glaciers and then like a little pedestal. But we do get to find out what the little red crystal comes out of the ship does. It's a data crystal, sunstone.
Yep. He basically plugs it in, and we get a little history lesson with Jordan. And while that's happening, we see Lois working on her Morgan Edge story. Morgan Edge is this corporate billionaire that's trying to do something to Smallville. We don't know exactly what, but that we see Lana and her husband Kyle come up and invite her to a barbecue that the family runs. And Lois is just like, yeah, we'll be there. We'll see you. We get to also see, once we return back to the fortress, Jor-El, at least the AI of Jor-El. What was the term that they used? Hologramps later. I really did enjoy that scene, and they made a point of Jordan's name. A lot of people were upset that they didn't just put Connor Kent in instead of doing this twin storyline. But Jordan's name is supposed to be based off of Jor-El's, Clark's Kryptonian father. I felt that was a nice touch, personally. I know a lot of people are still going to complain, but...
Yeah, he's got two sons named after his fathers. They're both dead.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a nice touch, and it makes sense to me.
Now, the real question is, if he has a daughter, was it going to be Martha? Or is it going to be Zora or Lara Al?
Well, I think if it's... What was that name?
I think it's Laura L.
Well, it could just be Laura then. Laura Kent or Martha. I don't know. I'm trying to think. I don't think there's a universe where Clark has a daughter, is there?
It's kind of hard. I think there was one, but it's like the 31st century. You have to look it
I
up. There actually is there might be one. I think there is, but it's like an Elseworlds.
okay. Well, I think that is an interesting concept that you just brought up, but we'll move on. Maybe baby drama will be a future season of this show, considering we didn't get a lot of baby drama whenever Superman showed up on Crisis or Supergirl. So after a while, they return home, and Clark is feeling super good about where he's at with Jordan. Because Jordan's excited. He's pumped. He's like, wow, I'm learning all this about my history. And it makes so much sense that this could be the reason why I feel the way I do. And it explains so much. And Clark feels he's in a good place with him. Lois announces that she's going to a city council meeting. And she takes the boys with her because her dad is coming over to see Clark. At the city council meeting, Lois tells the boys not to fight, and they go off, and we get some minor bits of teen drama here and there, which is a little bothersome. But again, I really don't mind. After a while, you kind of just get used to it, and it's like I recognize that this is an element of the show that they are going for. So it's acceptance, I suppose. There's this woman who's been following Lois around, and Lois goes up to her and says, what's your deal, basically? And the woman says, I'm a journalist here working for the Smallville Gazette, and I'm just really a big fan of yours. And right as the council meeting is about to start, the mayor announces Morgan Edge is joining because Morgan Edge has contracts that he's trying to sign into Smallville. All right. After that, we have General Lane and Clark. And basically, while last episode I talked about enjoying how Clark and Lois's father interact, this episode it's a little more strained because he's not happy that Clark has moved the family out into the farm life, because Lois's life has always been basically Metropolis. She's a big time reporter, you know, and it's absolutely understandable. But he wants to know why Clark did it, and he pretty much works out. Clark told the boys that he's Superman, and he says that telling the boys was the biggest mistake that he could make because he sees what a weight it has on Lois. Clark says that bringing them here is important to the family. He thinks that being here will put his family together. But General Lane says all it'll do is keep them apart. And then Clark gets called to Mongolia. Anything thus far that you want to comment on, Ah-nold?
Yeah, it's just you're taking forever. Going over every little detail. From the whole point of the show is basically just to try to show that Lois Lane is going at the Morgan Edge. It costs her job at the Daily Planet. She joins the Gazette. Lex Luthor is basically like blames Superman because on his world Superman destroyed the world. It was evil. He had the black Kryptonian costume on, kind of like the one they show him when he's wearing like the one when he comes out of like after the death of Superman. Instead of having the long hair, he just has the black one. Like the Earth, basically described as like the Earth X, almost kind of like that. But he's not the Nazi. It's a fun show. I'm surprised because only the other shows. You look at Batwoman. You look how political that is. You look at Supergirl. Supergirl's even more political. It just seems like this. I'm surprised that they haven't made like Lois Lane like the most important character on the show, because that's what they do. CW, it has to belittle the men, and I'm shocked. Maybe they decided because without Arrow, they need another guy, because Flash isn't gonna go around forever, and they figured this could be a cool part in the relationship, because this is the first heterosexual couple that actually the main stars. So far we know, both boys like girls.
Yep.
This isn't a show that's usually made for CW. This seems like it's made for like HBO Max or the DC universe online.
It is surprising, I will admit.
Is
You make
is
up
it
you
is it Jeff Johns produces, but maybe I don't know who's directing this. Is this Jeff John uh, influencing? I mean, or is this Dan Jurgens giving influence? And I'm curious, why is this so good? Or are they deciding to wait till after the season in this? Okay, you know what? We're gonna go back to our typical routine. It's
well when there's a break in the show, because a lot of these shows do have weeks that they take breaks. I feel like we can do a full talk about that. Talk about the behind the scenes and what exactly makes this different from other CW shows. But talking from a standpoint of just 2 episodes in, I'm hooked. I'm hooked, man. When we got to see Black Suit Superman again, because we saw him in Supergirl, and that was in a moment. But in here, it was awesome. It was amazing to see that scene, and you see the African American Lex Luthor from another world. He wasn't just some billionaire. He actually was fighting against this evil, very evil Superman, and he had a connection.
to be fair, we don't know if he was a millionaire or whatever, because that world is like a war torn. They're like in the war, they're like World War One, like the trenches, fighting trench warfare.
Yes.
Yeah, and we don't know if we always saw his red laser beams. We don't know if there's like an army of like Superman robots going against him, and because Superman appears behind him and just cuts them all in half with his kryptonite, or not his kryptonite, but with his heat vision. Or
oh yeah, when he was burning the trenches, and I believe he says at one point during the episode, to hell and back. That's their thing, at least in this other universe where there was an evil Superman. So this Lex Luthor, while he is the villain to our Superman of this world, he had a bad Superman. He knew exactly what happened to his Earth.
Yeah, so he thinks that all Superman, apparently, if we're gonna get them in the story, if he keeps going this way, Superman and this even though he's good on this planet, he's just gonna be evil like the other one, because he's a know-it-all.
Well, with Lex Luthor, that's the typical way. He is set in his own.
I expected not a war-torn like zone like that. I expected to be kind of like a John Cryer, similar like that, and just is maybe he's mad because he's stuck on his Earth, which is really weird because remember Crisis, you can't have more than one Lex Luthor.
I know. I don't understand this. I am wondering.
It's outside the continuity.
I don't think so.
It has to
what
be.
I think it is that John Cryer's Lex Luthor was turned into a paragon, and maybe that might be the loophole that they use to allow for this second Lex Luthor. Because I don't think it's going to try to break that rule. I think that they are trying to find a way around that, because John Cryer's Lex Luthor right now is Supergirl's big bad. And so they want to use Lex Luthor. But while Supergirl's using him, I guess they want to have their own, to focus on theirs. And I know that this takes place in the same universe. But there's a serious thing we have to talk about, and that's the fact that this doesn't feel like it at all. It's amazing how this show feels different from every other CW show. I mean, Batwoman season 1 felt that way too, a little bit. It had its episodes that it felt like it was getting preachy towards something, but it was acceptable because the story did not change, and it was a good story. I'm interested in this story that they have for Superman. And I really feel that this is just a whole nother level. An important note, it doesn't cost Lois her job. Lois quits. And whenever that moment was happening, I know that the actress, she isn't the easiest to watch sometimes. She's a very good actress. I do have to say that. But she is definitely carrying that kind of attitude that I just love for her character. She feels like Lois Lane, honestly. Any comments on that?
Yeah, she could step it up a little bit. She's kind of like a lame Lois. She's not. She's getting there, but obviously it's only second episode. But she seems like she's more like a neutered version. She's not like the full version like you see, like like Margaret Kidder, or we see it like in the cartoons, or even in even the comics. The comics, she's a pit bull. And this she seems kind of like, yeah, I got the family to worry about, so I can't run my mouth. But I quit the planet, and then I decided to go to the Gazette. Gazette needs to be silenced by the planet.
Well, I definitely
Morgan Edge could just buy the company.
I mean, he could.
He's buying the town. Why would he not buy the Gazette too?
He could. He hasn't yet, and that might be some drama towards later where the Gazette is basically being pinned by Morgan Edge for him to purchase it.
All they have to do is just sued for slander and lies, and then the Gazette gets shut down.
Listen, the planet is owned by Morgan Edge already.
Yeah, so
they changed her story completely, and that's why she left.
Yes, I understand that. We've already established that's why she quit, because he changed the story. But her joining this little bitty story thing, going Gazette, going two people Gazette, going against this giant and mega corporation, and most of the town is already with Morgan Edge. She's got the uphill battle, and she cannot deal with family life. It's gonna drive a wedge. You showed Clark is like, oh, you can't write this, you'll get fired. She's like, don't worry.
Clark is absolutely a supportive husband. He supports her moves no matter what. And if she quits the planet, he's going to be behind her. If she wants to write for the Gazette, he'll be behind her.
Obviously, the whole point that she quits the planet is for plot advancement, because the show takes place in Smallville.
Yeah, but I feel that it is a good motion. I understand. I saw some stupid articles saying let Lois Lane be Lois Lane, and I think it was supposed to lead into basically leaving her to work in Metropolis while Clark is raising the kids. I disagree. I feel like
the problem with this is that the show does not realize in the whole Super Sons and everything with Tomasi rolled everything with Jonathan Kent. At this point, she was not working at the planet. The world thought that she was dead. She was writing articles as Author X and Rebirth. So you didn't have this problem. Well, she didn't have to worry about Morgan Edge.
We talked about this when we were reviewing The Flash. This show, these are interpretations. They're taking bits and pieces and making their own thing. They aren't strictly word for word adaptations.
And the only problem is that when you try to take a story and you don't take the actual purpose behind that story and you create your own things, you make it even worse.
But I don't feel this is worse.
I feel like they're gonna run into script problems maybe. And they're gonna rely heavily on just, hey, look at me, I'm Clark Kent, I'm raising kids, yeah, it's good. You want Superman punch? There you go. I don't know why I'm speaking Russian now, but
Russian Superman, that is a thing, but I don't think that's here. No, I feel like this is absolutely, and you know what you just mentioned, her going as Author X, she could be doing that in the Smallville Gazette. She absolutely could.
Well,
she's not dead.
It's too late because she's already exposed herself. Yeah, and I just don't understand. I would like if maybe if she could like just maybe write a blog or internet blog by herself and just do it. She has the kernel's technology. She could just hide herself, and no.
The only problem with that is that this is Lois Lane and not Iris West. We went through that with the Flash for how damn long?
Yeah, but the problem is with that is Iris West that was not. They said it was creative liberties. It was nothing to do with the comics. Iris West was never even a blogger. She was a news reporter.
I mean, yeah, but we saw how that took a move. She was working for a newspaper. They basically made. I don't want her to just be a blogger. I don't want.
I think she doesn't have to be a blogger. She could just be anybody. She said the whole point was they lived off the grid. That way, they didn't have to worry about it. The kids weren't. Jonathan was not going to school for a while. Jonathan was being raised at home. It was homeschooled.
See, but that's a different situation. Because here they aren't going for that. They're not going for...
No, they're going for the teen angst drama.
No.
Yes, the boys.
It's a family show.
We saw this with Jordan. Jordan was jealous because he didn't get to school, and he saw that his brother, that Jonathan, had a moment with the girl he likes.
Yeah, but it wasn't meant to be like that. You see,
it was written that way.
You do have that jealous moment where he wants to go to school, but then as soon as he's taken to the fortress, he is hyped. Of course, after the fortress says he basically doesn't seem to have actual
you're not
powers.
Listening. No, you're not listening. He was jealous after they went to the fortress. After he came back, he was kind of forced to go, and he's just kind of like moping around. And he's like, and then he says like, and she asks, "Why don't you in school?" It's like, I was sick, but she's like, but you're healthy enough to come here. It's like, well, it feels better. And I was thinking, like, why is she giving him a third degree? It's like maybe he had the flu, maybe he was just been feel good. People do it all the time. It just felt kind of weird that kind of ask him that. But then again, maybe she's concerned about the whole kissing.
Yeah, I don't want to get the Rona. No, I don't think it's that either.
Nah. No, because they had the kiss. It's kind of awkward between the two, but I get the feeling that that maybe the brother Jonathan is going to develop powers. I hope he does.
I feel that way
I hope he does too, because remember, in Jordan, it came out when he's angry. So I'm thinking like, if I were Clark, I'd be like, what happened when you lose the heat vision? Were you pissed off? Yeah. Well, then try to get pissed off again. It's so simple, but they don't want to do it.
Emotion has to be put into it, and there's absolutely moments in this show where you feel like it could be leading towards that. And I think that Jonathan will have powers. I think both boys will have powers. I think Jonathan's will just take a little while to manifest. With Black Lightning, I know that I don't think you watched it, Bad Arnold.
No, I did not. I enjoyed this part in the Crisis, but other than that, I did not care for the show. It's not my style.
Well, basically, Black Lightning has 2 daughters, and it took the youngest daughter a little while longer than her older sister to finally get her powers. But if it takes time, there's no problem with that.
The only problem is this show does it and does not give them powers. A lot of people are gonna ban it because a lot of people like Jonathan. They like the whole Super Sons. They like all that stuff. Now the people who are watching it, maybe who don't read comics, they might stick around. People still watch Supergirl.
Yeah, I don't think comparing Superman's audience to Supergirl's audience is at all fair. Because
they're both CW shows.
Yes, but one show has quality thus far, and Supergirl from the start, even when it was on CBS, kept its kind of tone towards it. It's just gotten worse and worse over the years. Superman has started out, and I get no tone. I get a journalist who, while having these feelings about Morgan Edge, she's not at all leaning towards one idea or another or pushing some narrative thus far. And I'm really excited to have this opportunity. Not many shows make me feel like this, especially from the CW. I'm just going to wrap it up and say that I'm excited to see where it goes. And this show is called Superman and Lois, and I don't feel Lois degrades Clark in any way, nor does it happen the other way around. I feel like both characters get a good amount of time. If Clark could get a little more Superman action, I that could be better.
That's all he got his problem.
Admit. But it's still at the end of this episode. Clark he sits both boys down and he's like, I can't abandon the world.
The only problem is yes, I
Mm-hmm.
understand that. The problem is that he gave them both like, here's the device, and nothing happens. They're both being bullied. So what happens if the bully takes it?
No, he just gives it to Jordan.
Yes, but who's to say that the bully's not gonna go into the locker and they're like, I got your device. No, what is this? You should call your daddy. No, so it's highly sophisticated stuff. It's probably gonna get destroyed, or it's gonna go off and it's gonna cause Clark to be distracted while he's fighting someone. Lex Luthor.
It could be something that happens.
You know what's
but he wants his son to have an idea of a normal life, even though he's going to be training him, trying to get his powers to flourish.
You know they should make the show even better if Lex Luthor became like a scientist teacher. If Lex Luthor,
teacher?
Yeah. If Lex Luthor started from the other planet, infiltrates Smallville High.
I think you're partially joking, but at the same time, that isn't the worst idea in the world.
Is that way it can actually involve the kids more? They actually for a better reason.
It ties plots together. That's an idea that I do like. If something like that happens, I'm down, man. I hope they explain why there are two Lex Luthors on this earth. I really do.
Jordan will end up becoming the villain.
He might at some point, but they'll save him, and it'll all be. That's the typical way.
Because I bet you Jonathan's gonna get powers, and then Jordan's gonna be. I feel like an outcast even more.
He won't feel as special.
Yes, he won't feel as special in. Yeah. I kind of want them to do that now. Let's do it. Come on, we got to do it.
See, this is what I'm talking about. I talked about this last week. This show has so much potential. The show has so much potential with places it could go. It is definitely the Kent family show, but that doesn't have to be a bad thing. I know a lot of people want Connor Kent. I don't feel Connor Kent would have made sense to this at all. He just would not fit properly in the puzzle.
Honestly, if it just put him in Jonathan and Connor, and with Connor already established, maybe Connor's already living there. He'd like his uncle. He'd be like the uncle to Jonathan, and that's all they really needed to do.
Yeah, I don't think that would have been. I don't think that would have been.
And you're dealing with one child having powers. Now you got two people you have to worry about, and they're ornamental boys.
I also want to point out that the show Titans is going on, and it does have Connor Kent in there. So I mean, that could have been one of the things that made them think, we best avoid using that character. I don't mind Jordan as this new character. I feel that the name, I didn't even think about it. It makes absolute sense that Jordan would be a name for one of his sons, because his father, Jor-El, and then his other son, Jonathan. They're both named after his fathers, because he has his birth father from Krypton, and the man who raised him.
I want to point out that I blame Nash Wells for having two sons. If it wasn't for Nash Wells fooling around with the anti-monitor, and all of a sudden, there was only one son.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure about that.
Actually, it's Nash Wells, because before, remember, there was no twins. There was only one kid.
Oh, you're right. He only had a baby. I remember when the end of Crisis came, and when Superman was flying home, and uh, Lois was talking to him and saying, "Your sons are home," and he's like, "Sons," and but we didn't actually get the feeling of that. It all felt natural, like this is the situation, which I also I enjoy to a degree. I wonder why they went that way. I guess maybe Clark just accepted it, and it's absolutely understandable. And I can see how something like this could happen.
Yeah, so overall, I got to say this show is pretty good, but yeah, Lex Luthor is kind of weak. Hopefully, he gets better and is in less drama because he's coming off more just from that little lines he said, in there, and it kind of reminds me of the Batwoman.
What?
Yeah, he's playing victimhood again.
Okay. We've got to back it up. I can't wrap this up yet. You just took the box, tore it open, and expect me to put the pieces back together? No. See, with the few minutes we get of this Lex Luthor, we understand that his Earth had a Superman that was downright evil. A Superman who was burning soldiers in trenches. Just zoom, and Lex saw them all die. A friend he had a connection with, General Lane, in that universe.
Yeah, but guess what he does though? He says he's like, even though this Superman is good as his computer says, he says he'll go bad in time. Yeah.
I mean, it's hard for.
Yes, it's hard for him to come to another Earth and expect it to be differently. Lex was supposed to be a smart man. Instead, he's just narrow-minded.
Lex always has this opinion on Kryptonians, pretty much that they need to be erased. He's too powerful. Superman is too powerful.
The only problem is that now Lex is like, who's in crisis. Lex is going to come to realize he uses anybody as a pawn as long as he keeps him alive. He uses Superman.
Well, yeah. So, but this is a different Lex Luthor.
Yeah,
not just because he's from another Earth. This is just his entire manner.
If he starts doing the whole PTSD, I am going to start laughing.
I mean, it is a traumatic experience what he went through. We saw just a few minutes of it.
Yeah, that's why he started killing people just to get kryptonite.
And we don't know yet. It could be the case that Kal-El from his universe wasn't always bad. He could have turned bad.
Oh, he went to how he turned bad. You're trying to say he went Goku Black? Someone took over his body and he went evil?
Who?
It's like talking to a brick wall. Superman, you're trying to say that Superman wasn't always bad in its Earth. Kind of like Goku from Dragon Ball Z. If you look at that, he was a good guy hero, and all of a sudden he was evil one day. We found out that actually someone else took over his body.
Well, I don't think anybody took over that Superman's body. It could just be an injustice situation.
It's CW. Everything goes that way. If it's an injustice situation, that's another thing. It's like don't cherry pick from shows or comics.
I'm not familiar with any of that anime or the manga, some stuff like that. I don't know. I'm a little too old for that.
Yeah, you're like what, maybe like 10 years old?
No. If I could find my tag, it would say right here, but that's another case. I feel that this Lex Luthor is interesting. Outside of the suit, his performance was weaker. I think in the flashback, he had a strong moment, but that was character building, and it wasn't actually him performing in the now.
He just felt kind of like whenever I try to watch Jimmy Olsen Supergirl trying to be Guardian. It just felt like whenever he tried to get passionate, angry, it just felt kind of cheap and kind of hollow. I hope that this one he decides. I love an older Superman. I don't like these younger people. It's like I prefer someone like Idris Elba. When this guy's serious and he's pissed off, like Black Lightning, same actor, same kind of quality, you believe it.
Yep. I see what you're saying, and I hope he has a moment to get angry himself. In the suit, though, he sounds intimidating as hell.
Even Krypton. You watch the show Krypton, Zod on there.
Yes, I
Good
remember that
actor.
actor is great.
Why couldn't we get someone like that quality? Because like I said, it's only a second episode, but I don't want to see that kind of crap. I want to see intimidating Lex Luthor. I want to see Lex Luthor who's like a human peak performance, someone who basically kick your ass if he wants to without using a suit.
Well, I'm going to be fair to this Lex Luthor. We have only had a few moments with him outside of the suit. Anytime he's been in the suit, he's absolutely been intimidating as hell. I will repeat that.
Even John Cryer, without his muscles, he's still intimidating this guy.
Well, yes, but at the same time, that Lex Luthor is a different kind. He's more of the mad Lex Luthor. Hell,
He's the genius, Lex Luthor.
Yes, they're all geniuses.
We really have to see that. So we'll find out.
Well, I'm fairly certain that this Lex Luthor built his own ship and his suit. So, I mean, that's some level of genius.
I'm just worried that we're going to start with this Lex Luthor. The next episodes we're going to start going into the SJW stuff because it's going to matter time.
Well, we'll see. At the same time, he has definitely had. It looks like his problem is purely just Superman.
So
that's it.
So that we should probably wrap it up. Maybe see you guys next. Same bad time, same bad channel.
No, same puppet time, same puppet channel. Thank you everybody so much for watching. We will be reading your comments. Go ahead and leave a like. If you're not subscribed, please do subscribe. And if you are subscribed, make sure that notification bell is on. We want you to get all of these videos. And we want to be talking about these shows with you because we are excited. Aren't we, Bad Arnold?
Yeah, we're very excited. So you got to watch these videos, give us thumbs up. Maybe if you like us, leave us bad comments. I don't care. I want to see something for you. I don't want to hear from people who just don't care about stuff. I want to hear people who are passionate. Show us your emotion. Show us your range. Show us your villain, or show us your hero.
Then you heard Bad Arnold. He told you what to do. And with that, thank you for watching. Bye.